Well, of course, Navy came up with a massive 41-38 win at home over South Florida Saturday on Senior Day, and our next guest was awesome. Came off the bench when his name was called, ran the ball 9 times for 103 yards and 2 touchdowns, including this one that you're about to see on your screen. With just over 4 minutes left, what became the dagger in the game, a 64-yard touchdown run. He is Navy quarterback Braxton Woodson, and he is with us this morning here on GCR. Braxton, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for taking the time for us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Hey, man, what is it about the way that you guys do things that in this spot, you're called upon, maybe not the most focal part of the game plan during the course of the week, but you are ready to go and you're able to deliver in that spot against one of the best teams in the country?
Yeah, I mean, it's just we really work hard at practice. We try to go over any situation we can. So I'm getting a pretty good amount of reps, basically the same amount of reps that Blake does. Because in any moment, it's one play away. And I feel like, I owe it to all of my teammates, to be ready at every moment. Especially like this weekend to step in, and do whatever I can to win us the game. So I just, falling back on that training that I have during the week, I think that's what really helped me and allowed me to perform how I did.
So there's no panic in you. You go and you're like, all right, let's go, right? Like this is where we're supposed to be.
Yeah, no, I feel like, I was ready to go. It's always good, when you feel like your coaches trust you and they believe in you. They didn't seem worried. My teammates, they were all patting me on the back, telling me, let's do it. I was ready to go. I was fine.
How much did it help having just played the week before against Notre Dame? Like, I know it didn't go the way you guys wanted it to go, but there were some good plays in there.
Yeah.
How much do you feel like maybe you benefited having to be thrown into this spot on Saturday, to have been on the field and been through it in a game just 7 days earlier?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps a lot. Notre Dame, they were a great team, number 10 in the country. So going against them, obviously it was what it was, but it definitely built some confidence in me, especially playing in front of 80 plus thousand people. So, in a moment, like this past weekend, I didn't feel like it wasn't anything I haven't seen already or anything I haven't been in already. So, I just prayed a little bit. Thank God for giving me the opportunity, and I was ready to go.
Braxton, I know that you root for your guys and you're happy for your guys, and when the team is having a great season, it's special. But does it mean more, like when you're in the midst of this special season, to now be able to say, and I've been a big part of that. Like I contributed significantly. Like as happy as you are for everybody else, does that mean something to you to be able to say, and I'm a real part of the reason why we're in this spot?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody wants to see, go out there and do what they feel like they've come to the Naval Academy to do, to play football, and stuff like that. So I really feel like, it's just a great opportunity, and I'm just glad to be here. So yeah, I definitely say it definitely means a little bit more when you actually, put in a little work towards it.
I believe that. I don't think there's anything selfish about that either, right? Like I think that's very normal. And then I saw a couple people shared about it on social media, but there's an image of Blake celebrating with you after you get the score, right? Can you like walk me through that relationship? And
Yeah, I mean, Blake is an amazing guy. Just outside of football, just an amazing guy. We text each other often. We have a group chat, all the quarterbacks, where we send jokes and pictures and stuff like that. So I feel like we have a really good relationship, me and him and the rest of the quarterbacks as well. So that really helps, especially in those moments where you feel like, you come off the sideline, you can ask him what he saw or what he feels like we should have did better or something like that. And I feel like, it was just two people working together to achieve a common goal. And I feel like that's what you saw when he was celebrating for me. And, vice versa. Anytime he gets in there and he does his thing, I'm excited for him. I'm happy for him.
That's awesome, man. That's really, really cool. I feel like that's the perfect, that's going to translate to, like, you're going to be serving alongside each other, right? This is the way it goes. Braxton Woodson with us here on GCR. Braxton, this team, I'm sure you guys, as much as you try to block this stuff out, I'm sure you're aware of how people had probably written you off after what had happened against North Texas and then against Notre Dame. How did you guys insulate? How did you prevent some disappointing results from allowing things to snowball? How were you able, as a group, to get back on the horse this week and go deliver that performance?
Yeah, we talk about, we talk a lot about compartmentalizing. Sometimes you just gotta, separate things from other things, and you just gotta face the next thing that's up ahead. We talk about going 1-0, just winning the next thing that's in front of you. So whether that be the next practice, the next class, the next test, the next military inspection, whatever it is, we're ready to go. And I feel like that's what we tried to do this week. Obviously, it worked in our favor. But every week to week, we're just trying to go 1-0. We're trying to do whatever we can, to put ourselves in the best position for success.
Do you have to call each other out ever? Do you ever see a guy like moping and you have to say like, nah, we're not doing that here. Like, we're not going to feel sorry for ourselves. Did you have to go through any of that?
I mean, peer leadership, is really big here. Holding your guys accountable, because I mean, at the end of the day, we go to the top service academy in the country. So like it does get hard. There are days where you're down a little bit. But that's what you have your brothers for. Our locker room is really strong. So if somebody's down, the guy's right there next to him to pick them up.
That's awesome, man. I love to hear that. Braxton Woodson with us here on GCR. Braxton, let's talk about your path, because I think people might sort of be kind of getting familiar with your story, right? Like, you are the son of a football player. You got football all over your family. Was it always football for you? Did you always know that's what you wanted to do? Did you ever think like, oh, man, maybe I should try something else? Like, what was the path for you that led you to playing football?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up always playing multiple sports, whether it was football, baseball, or track. My first 2 years of high school, I was going back and forth between football and baseball. But, football started to take a little bit more precedence. I was more excited about the football games than the baseball games. And truth be told, I couldn't hit a curveball. So, like, I really just that's kind of what did it for me. I was like, okay.
Said I might need to be able to do something else.
Yeah. I was like, all right, so boom, football it is. And, I poured all into that, get trainers, camps, things like that. Obviously, and it worked out in my favor. I was able to perform, and, just get blessed the opportunity to come here.
What about the part where you end up at Navy, right? Like, your family, peppered the SEC. Was it a dream of yours to play in the SEC? Was it something where you would have been willing to do? Like, walk me through how someone who I think we would all look at and say, why wouldn't you end up at Alabama or Auburn, even if it is not top-notch offers, even if you have a chance? Why would it be that you would end up at a place like the Naval Academy?
Yeah, I mean, the Naval Academy, it's its own, like, it's just separate from anything else. Like the people that they're putting out, not necessarily, the first round draft picks or anything like that, but they're putting out officers and leaders and people who are going to go back to their communities, and do something, for a change, actually just help people, in their area. And that's really what I wanted to do, because, football isn't forever. Obviously, it's hard to think about that, being a senior in high school, trying to decide where you want to go. But football isn't forever. And, I want to do something that's going to make an impact on a lot of people and eventually help my family down the line. So that's what, I was thinking about there. Obviously, the SEC schools are great, big time football and things like that. But I feel like, we're 8-2 right now, going against some pretty good competition. We're playing on national stages, just played against, big teams like that. So, I'm still getting the same, gratification that I feel like I would have gotten if I was anywhere else.
That's awesome, man. That's a really cool attitude to have. Were you always like that, or where did that come from for you that you were able to think that way?
I think it really came from my mom. She tried to put a lot of things into perspective for me, especially when making this decision. All of my family, my stepdad, my dad, my brothers, my sisters, they were all, very supportive of me, just telling me whatever I was going to do, they were going to be there to support me. So I feel like that's what really helped me a lot.
Was it important for you to play quarterback? Was that a big deal to you that, I feel like a lot of people, you can go to a service academy and play quarterback, or I'm sure you had people in your ear like, nah, just play this other position.
Yeah.
And you might have an opportunity to play at a different place. Can you tell me, did it matter to you that you wanted to be a quarterback in college?
Yeah, I'd say it mattered a pretty good amount to me because I mean that's what I worked my whole life for, to play quarterback. So when I was given the opportunity to come here, play quarterback, had a pretty good chance of playing early.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of a big part for me, just not getting away from what I really truly wanted to do.
Oh, that's cool, man. What about the part
Yeah.
where Drew Cronick comes in and you see like you kind of throwing the ball a little bit? Like, does
Mhm.
that? I mean, it's not a ton. I'm not gonna like pretend like
Yeah.
maybe next year we're gonna see like 35 pass attempts or anything along those lines.
Mhm.
But like, did that excite you? The idea of like, okay, we can mix it in. I can remind people that it's not just running the option.
Yeah.
That like it involves being able to throw the ball downfield sometimes too.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Connick is great. What he brought in here has absolutely, just revolutionized, modern day Navy football. So when I saw that, it definitely, got me excited, got me going, and just being able to like hear his thoughts and pick his brain on, what it means to be a Navy quarterback. That's what I'm trying to, still learn today.
That's cool, man.
Yeah,
Now, it's not done yet, right? Like y'all still
very true.
have some really important ones
Yeah.
on the horizon. You mentioned big atmospheres. Obviously, there's a big game on Thanksgiving night coming up at Memphis. How do you
Mhm.
guys, take what you were able to do against North Texas and make sure you don't end up going the other way and maybe getting too high on the horse? What are
Mhm.
those conversations like this week?
I think just to stay grounded. A lot of the times we say, losing maximizes things that you did wrong and winning minimizes things. But we're going to try to do the same thing. If we would have lost, we're going to try to maximize, all the mistakes that we made, try to learn from this. Coach Newberry always says there's a lot of meat left on the bone.
Hmm.
So we're going to try to, learn from that, learn everything that we did wrong. And we're going to try to, better prepare ourselves for Memphis because, they're a good team.
All right, so we're talking this morning. Later today, we're gonna see the uniforms, right?
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
how excited are you? How much are you? Dude, like every year, it just seems like they get better and better
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
Army. I mean, it's outrageous how cool they look.
Mhm. Yeah, the uniforms are great, and what I really like is the story behind them.
Yeah,
How they're able to incorporate, so much that's actually happened in the military and the Navy and the Marine Corps into the uniforms. So I'm really excited.
man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Braxton, I wandered over. I saw you were on Instagram, but it looks like you're not doing a whole heck of a lot on Instagram. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, not really, not really.
All right, but at Braxton Woodson on Twitter would be a good
Hmm.
place for people to give you a follow, correct?
Yep.
Braxton, so happy for you, man. What a moment,
Thank you.
right? Like, what an awesome,
Yeah,
and we can't wait to see a lot more of them moving forward for you but this
I appreciate
season
it.
and after that. Thank you for spending time with us this morning. Go get him against Memphis on Thanksgiving. Really appreciate you doing this.
Thank you again. I appreciate you guys.